Hello fellow crafters, this is Jane Fires with Fun Stamper's Journey, and I am coach number 151. If you remember, the video I did just previously was the one that I showed you how to do this particular background, and what we used for that was our gel press, our brayer, and our Journey whipped cream acrylic paint, along with our Denim Days cardstock. So now we're going to take this piece of background paper that we've made using those items, and we're going to turn this into a card. To get my snowflakes, remember, with the gel press, I also used our Stencil Winter Wonderland. And so we did this in a complete 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. For this particular card, we're going to do one like this. And this particular card, we're going to use our background paper. We're going to use our Vellum, Journey Vellum. We're going to use our whipped cream. We're going to use some mirror silver or our mirror gold. And I'm going to show you two cards in which I've used one of each of those colors in. This is the card similar that we're going to do, and this is the other one that we did. And both of them, as you can see, use our background that we've made. This one we did in the silver, and I think that you can see that. I embossed in silver the snowflakes on the front. And then I used our new silver organza ribbon. And then I used our silver and twine, our thread, along with one of our dies, that is the snowflake. And then to give it that little extra bling, I used some of our Journey rhinestones. On this one, we used the gold instead of the silver. So let's get started. First thing that we're going to do with our background is our vellum. Okay, now to make the vellum, what I'm going to do is use our Snowburst stamp set because I want to use the two medium and small snowflakes. So what I'm using is our clear pigment ink. I'm going to ink up my medium snowflake, and these are hard to see on the vellum. Put it down, make sure I have a good inking here on this, and then I'm going to do my small one over to this side, and I can see them if I lift my vellum up a little bit, and then one over here. Now I've stamped them, of course, in the clear pigment. So now I'm going to bring in my Journey tray, and in my tray I put a coffee filter because it's much easier to get, I think anyway, to get my embossing powder out of my tray. And then pour in my gold embossing powder, making sure I have a good stamping and a good inking of that. Lay that aside, and then I'm going to use my heat gun. And when I use my heat gun, one of the things I use is my bloom tool because the heat gun gets really hot. Then what I do is I always check it. Now you can tell a difference when you've heated something. For example, right there it still looks a little black. That means that I've not heated that corner enough. So I can go back and heat it again, and then it will be all gold shiny, and that's what I want. I want the shiny gold. So now my vellum is done. So now I can decide on my background where I want to put my vellum. Once you make a decision on where you're going to put it, you have to adhere your vellum to the background piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my vellum this way with my background piece. And up here on my background piece, I'm going to put a little bit of our white liner tape. Anything will stick to this. So I like it. I adhere it down. I rub over it with my bloom tool to make sure I have it down well. And then I go ahead and I peel up my backing. Now I'll line up my vellum to this piece and press it down, and my vellum will now stay there. Now, as you can see, I can kind of see my tape through here, but don't worry about that. You won't see it when we're finished. So there are my snowflakes in gold now on top of my gel plate piece that we did in the snowflakes. So now what I'm going to do is I want to add, instead of adding a full ribbon, as I did on this one here and on this one, instead of doing them exactly like that, I want to just use some of our gold thread. This is our gold in with our natural color of thread. And so I've made a bow. In fact, I've got 4 little loops here for my bow. And I can move them around how I want them. And I'm going to adhere this up here where I have my strip underneath so that you can't see it. And in order to do that, I am using one of our glue dots. So I'm going to put my glue dot on the top, or on the back side, I mean, of my bow, right where its knot is, because then that covers it up. Peel off my backing, and then lay it here on my card, right where I want it. So there I have my little bow on. But now I want to add just a little more bling. So I'm taking our trim of sequins, and I'm using the gold, and I'm going to put a little bit of this behind my bow, and I'm going to work it in a little bit in between a couple of my loops. And then I'm going to bring it and I'm going to cross it over each other. I want it even though. And then I'm going to take another one of our glue dots and I'm going to glue where they come together to my vellum. And then that will hold those down. And then I can trim my little pieces here off however I want them. But I also want to add one of my snowflakes that I've die cut. So what I'm going to do is cut this off about right there. And I'll cut this one off right up here. And then I'm going to bring my 2 pieces from my little bow up there that I made. And I'm going to bring those together. Then on the back of my little snowflake, what I like to use is some of our tape. And so I simply cut a small piece of tape, and what I'm going to do is fold it over, because that way I know that I've got it good and strong and I only need a small piece because I need it to be able to fit here on my snowflake. And of course I've die cut this snowflake, so the pieces that I'm working with are not very big. And so I'm putting in my tape right there, and then I'm taking my Detail Pro scissors, because nothing sticks to them, And if I see my tape sticking out where I don't want it here, I can just push it back in using the point of my little scissors. So now I have my snowflake ready to go on. And so I'm going to hold my threads together where I want them to stick to my snowflake. So now I have my snowflake on. Let's trim these off. I want my snowflake to be at the very end. And you can adjust these things however you want. Okay, so there's the front of my card. And then I took the Merry Christmas from our Robin Holiday stamp set, and I stamped it on our whipped cream. And now I'm going to pop dot it up with our foam squares. One of the things I really like about our foam squares, because we have two sizes. We have this size here, the small, and then we have the medium as well. And what I like about them, not only their size, but they are the same height, so that I can use them and not have to worry that one thing is higher than the other. So on Merry Christmas, I'm using 2 of my small little foam dots. I'm going to put that right up here. And now I'm going to adhere it to my whipped cream. And because my bow up here isn't very thick as far as height goes, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to, when in doubt, pop it up, is what Richard says. So I'm going to pop this up onto my white cardstock. Peel off my backings. And there's that one. And now, as you know, what I've done is use the background from the gel press that we made. Now, if you want the vellum to stick down more yet, what you can do is take a glue dot and put it behind one of your embossed snowflakes that's solid there in the middle, and that will hold it down, and then you won't see it. So on this card now, what we've used is our gold thread along with our gold sequins trim. We've used a die here, and we've used our embossing powder with our stamp set. Now on this one, we did the same with our gold, but we used our white special ribbon. This is our organza ribbon. And then up here, I just made a single little bow to tie on our snowflake. The silver one that we did is this one here. If I hold it up a little, you can see our snowflakes better, but against the background, it's hard to see the silver, I think. But then I used our silver organza ribbon along with our silver thread, and again, our die with our snowflakes. On this one, we also used the little rhinestones. Now you could use the rhinestones on either one of these as well if you wanted to, just to give it a little more pizzazz. But this is what I've done using the background that we've made with our gel plates. Now I do have other ones, and I will do another gel plate with you in the next video and show you how to do something different for your background. You'll see that I've used in the next one, I have also used our snowflake stamp set, but I've done it totally different than what I did these. If you have any questions, you can reach me at Serif, SERIF1 at AOL.com. And all the products that I've used today are on my website at www.funstampersjourney.com/angelhugs. I will also have all the details put on my blog, which is www.janie, Janie, angelhugs.blogspot.com. Have a great and blessed day.